Good evening. This is the, thanks, Mark. Welcome to the August 10th, 2026 meeting of the Painesville Township Living Commission. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Well, roll call, please.
Okay, Ted Galushik,
Ted?
Here.
Mark Ruth,
Here.
John Hott,
Here.
Darrell Webster,
Here.
John Everett is not here, alternate Ante Lagarsic.
Here.
Okay, any general, Sean and Rachel, any general comment, questions from the public for today's meeting?
I have not known.
The people in the audience, I'm assuming that all you folks are for a certain agenda item. Am I correct or am I wrong?
Correct.
Okay, then you have your chance to talk to us when it comes up to your turn. Call the regular meeting to order. We have a July 13th, 2026 minutes was emailed to us with the agenda. What's your pleasure on the minutes? Here to approve or revise?
I'll move approval.
I got approval by Darrell, second by Mark. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, John Hott.
Abstain, I was not here last week.
Okay, Darrell Webster, sorry. Alternate Ante Lagarsic,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
and Ted Galushik.
Yes. This time, I'd like to move that the Painesville Township Zoning Commission enter into an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22 G3, conference with the Township Legal Counsel concerning a dispute involving the township that is subject of immediate court action. I need a second on that motion.
Second.
I have a motion to second. Roll call, please, on the motion
Ted made the motion.
Oh,
to go into executive session.
okay, seconded.
Go down your list.
Okay. Okay. Ted Galushik,
Yes.
okay, Darrell Webster,
Yes.
okay, John Hott,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
and alternate Ante Lagarsic.
Yes. Time is 6:30.
Do we
Yep.
leave?
No, we're gonna go in the back, there's technically less of us.
Okay. We can leave.
No, you're good, you're good. No, you don't need to take it.
Not sure, I'm just taking all of it.
Rich, just find us the leader.
I was trying to help you, Darrell. Hey, how you doing? It's good, you? Ready? Ready? Or longer? still very respectful, but I think it's a right-handed thing, so you must be a left. You're not? Oh, I was thinking.
Dude, that's about my favorite.
I did. Little details sometimes.
Did you know that?
You did, you did.
I mean, I was helping. The last sentence.
So I don't know if that's a camera or if it is, that's good. If it's not, it's okay. Looks like one. I know they're recording it, but that looks like a video system.
Did you see this? The last lady that walked in.
She's the assistant legal counsel, she's the legal counsel for this board.
She's the one that said.
Yeah, I talked to her, she doesn't vote, doesn't make a decision. But she's fair, but I know that she has a good job. I mean, we're happy, she's there. It's the board. And she agreed to send a text, and this stuff here, it says board, so either one.
Cost us. So we'll take care of that. There's also, well, if the whole project is a $2 million project, it sounds like to me. You see? I know it's a separate phone. Yeah, it's just a bit. Yeah, they may object thinking that somebody's telling you stuff. Okay, so. I don't know what it is. It's a good idea, but.
Yes, yeah, now. Not sure what happened. That's what too.
Oh, really? Oh, geez, oh gosh.
Chris, could you please let me know?
I did,
You don't
I never
want to
heard
wait on the
of
order.
it.
I probably won't be home until 10 o'clock, but I can take care of it if you don't get it done. I think we have to get it done for the rest of the state.
Do you live somewhere up this way or? About 2 hours south. Are you going home?
Yeah.
You're in Holmes County?
Yes.
Yeah, Worcester. I know Berlin, just because their high school is kind of famous for basketball.
Yes.
Right. Isn't Berlin pretty close to Worcester?
It's within about 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Is it south of Worcester?
It's south, yeah. And our office, Mike and Mike lives literally like a quarter mile
From your office?
from the Highland High School.
Oh,
We're right here, our office is right there.
I know they used to always have a big basketball tournament down there.
The Perry Reese,
Yeah.
Let's get in country.
classic independent wrestler.
Worcester seems like a pretty prosperous town.
It is, and it really is.
Is that area kind of a area that's more prone to tornadoes than up this way a little bit? No?
I would,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of.
How far off of 71 are you going?
40 miles, 30 miles.
South?
West, we'd be east,
East?
between 77
Oh.
and 71.
Which is quicker for you, 77 or 71?
Probably 77 from here.
So then you're a little south of Canton, right?
Yeah, we would be south of here.
Do you take it towards Massillon then, 77?
So let it just go down there.
Yeah. Do you take it towards Massillon? Massillon's a little
So we could go,
west of,
so we could go, 77 is an hour and 50,
yeah.
but going down through 271 to 224,
There's 224.
77 south. Where is the relation to Barberton?
Right here.
So we would be down. This is Old Shop. So it would be basically 2 hours, basically east.
check, 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 check.
Hey, John,
Okay.
can you make sure your mic's turned on?
I do too.
Was this one red and the rest of them?
Okay, folks,
Yellow.
back in, I need a motion for going into regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion to go into regular session. I need a second.
Second.
Anthony second. Roll call please on the motion to go back into regular session.
Okay, alternate Ante Legarsic,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
Ted Galushek,
Yes.
John Hodge,
Yes.
Mark Ruth.
Yes.
Okay. We got a public hearing on case 2026-0120, section 22.17, tobacco, vape, e-cigarette sales. We had a public hearing, this is the continuation of the public hearing that we started in the last meeting in July 13th. We had, you folks we had a copy of it. We kind of waited for, John had some questions on it. I read it, I have some questions on it. Staff, if you could just kind of update us so we can remember now what, and then we'll go from there.
So we are looking at adding this whole section at the bottom of 22.17, underneath probably, what is that, the adult section, and then there's like a childcare randomly thrown in there, odd combination. This would just be totally carrying on of section 22, putting limitations on tobacco, vape, hemp, electronic smoking devices in the township.
Okay.
Did send the revised version over to the county, no comment back, which it's here nor there.
Okay. Any questions from the commission members for the staff? Hearing no, but I got a few.
Ask away.
Sean, in separation requirements,
Mm-hmm.
2,000 feet
Yeah.
in between establishments, what came up with that? Is that a state rule?
No, it's the limitations the township wants to place. So when you measure 2,000 feet out, I mean, it's a good distance apart from each other. You go, when you look at the back of a truck, it says stay back 600 feet. When you measure that out, is that super far or not? So
Okay, I just wanted to ask that question. And also I had a question under D, last paragraph. In this section here, is there any loopholes in here that we're missing?
You said D?
D, applicability,
Yeah.
and then go to the last paragraph. Reading last paragraph, is there any holes in there, loopholes that we could be missing? And if somebody come in. I didn't think there was anything, but I just wanted to make sure.
No, because basically when you look at what it's trying to prohibit would be somebody opening just a straight smoke shop type situation, like where you open, say, Fabi's Music goes under and they just want to sell straight vape. This would there. So you go down further and you go into the Get Go gas station. Clearly they sell some vape cartridges, but it's incidental to the main purpose, which
Okay.
is gasoline and convenient foods.
Okay. Any other questions for the staff on this case? Hearing none, if there's no other questions for this public hearing, need a motion either to continue the public hearing or close the public hearing. Because if we close the public hearing, then we have 30 days to recommend to the Township Trustees to adopt this section, revised section 2217.
Move to close.
I got a motion to close. Need a second on the motion.
Second.
Second, Darrell. Any questions on Any discussion on the motion to close the public hearing? Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, Ted Galusha,
Yes.
John Hatt,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
and alternate Ante Lagarsic.
Yes.
Sean, thank you for answering the questions.
Mhm.
Okay. New business. No, excuse me, site plan architecture reviews. Sorry, folks. I'm not, I have a lot of things on my mind right now today. Not good, not good. Okay, this is a site plan review for, case 2026-2009. Review for 1388 Manor Avenue, requested for a modification to the previously approved roof color for a proposed car wash, which is down the street. And the original approved color was maroon, which you folks agreed to back in 25, that we approved in 25. Just want to make this clear. And the request now is to change the roof color, which is already installed, to a blue to match the vacuum equipment. That's what it says in here. So I will since you folks are making the request to us, please proceed of why we should approve this change. After the fact. After the fact. After the installed fact. How's that? I want to make that point clear.
So my name is Jim Lyons. I'm an attorney in Painesville, Ohio City. You know, I
No problem.
wasn't lucky enough to get into the township here. So. Are we recording this by video also?
Yes, YouTube.
Okay, so we could get a copy later on? Or-
Yes.
Okay. So I really wasn't planning on really doing much, but I may. I have Anthony Barcelli here, and I have the contractors. Joni Hostetler is one of the contractors for Buckeye, and they build these places kind of all around Ohio, and they also build them in Indiana. He says they have a couple going on in Indiana. They're down from Holmes County, okay, not too far from Berlin High School. So they have come up a long way in order to do that. Also, two of Anthony's the owner, and he has two of his kids here. Okay, you know, they're sitting right next to him, and I don't think that they're going to testify, but they were involved in terms of this mix-up. Okay, and then I think you know that there's facts, and so you know I think that you know we're asking for forgiveness. Unfortunately, never a good idea, but there was nothing that was done that was intentionally trying to you know, flaunt the Painesville Township rules. I mean, Anthony's a rule follower, these guys are rule followers, but they did make a mistake, okay, and it is built. And I heard when you were talking, you know, that you know, now we're here and, you know, it's already built and we're asking for this. And it sounds like you're gonna hold that against us, and I don't think that you can.
So I'm one vote out of 5.
No, I understand that, but I mean, just the fact that they made a mistake, you still have to judge it by what the guidelines are.
Okay.
And you still have to follow what the guidelines are. And, you know, the fact that it's there, you know, I've had a little discussion with Mandy and she was very generous with her time. But I wanted to know if you guys deny this, are they still able to open up? And the answer seems to be yes, okay? And then it becomes an enforcement type situation because the zoning permit has already been issued, you know, so that if we don't, you know, you say no, we then go, you know, and we don't change it within a timely manner, you know, then you have to take us to either common police court, or you would have to take us to, you know, Painesville Municipal Court to cite us for violations, you know, that would include fines per day. I mean, that's just the way it works. Now, I'm gonna ask Mandy, okay, because I'm giving you a lot of legal stuff, that if you think I'm wrong on anything I'm saying, Mandy, because you guys have no reason to believe me. Maybe Darrell does because I know him a little bit, okay? I hope he believes me. But if I'm saying something that's legally incorrect, then correct me, okay? Maybe we can have a discussion about that, okay? So I thought that I would just kind of lay that kind of groundwork, is that we're looking at this anew, okay? And we have to look at, okay, just one issue is what we're talking about here. And this started because of Sean doing his job, driving around Painesville Township, you know, and he saw the blue roof. And he went in, and he talked to Anthony, maybe he talked to the contractor and said, hey, you got the wrong roof color. They go, oh my God. Okay, I think that's what they said. John can correct me if I'm wrong. And they then, as a result of that, filed this new application, okay, for a modification. I think that they did that, with the assist of Buckeye, like on July 8th. Now, do you have what they filed? Is that part of your record there? Okay, because I'm gonna ask the Buckeye people just to come up here, just to kind of walk through it in order to create a record for this particular hearing. But you already have it in front of you now? I mean, was that distributed? Because I know it was filed, and there was like 6 copies is what there were, okay? So then, the other thing I want to establish, the other thing I want to establish is that not only do they have to follow the rules, but so do I and so do you. Okay, and so you have guidelines that you have to follow. Okay, do we all agree that you have to follow guidelines? Mandy hasn't corrected me, so yes. Okay, and the guidelines for roofs, okay, in this particular district are on page, in section 39. And I have a bunch of extra copies here, so I'll give one to Mandy. I already alerted her to this.
I don't really need it. I
Okay,
have
but
it.
here's this, there's this, there's this, uh-oh. I may be running short here. Well, I guess I'm not. There we go. No sharing, okay. So, it seems like all we're talking about is the roof color. Everything else is beautiful. They've made a $2 million investment on a place that had sat empty for years and years and more years, okay? And now there's a shining jewel down the street, okay, that just happens to have a blue roof. Now, the rules I have to follow, they have to follow, you have to follow. On page 39.11, guidelines for roofs, says roof colors, because this is all about roof colors. It says roofing materials should complement the color and texture of the building's facade. No question. I mean, I think you have to find that. Then it says roof colors should be muted earth tones. That's not a muted earth tone, okay? Or a color that is darker than the facade. It's an either or. It can either be muted or a color darker than the facade. That color is darker than the facade. The facade is white. It meets that requirement. If the word or wasn't in there, there'd be no reason for me to be here or anybody to be here because they couldn't meet that standard. But they meet that standard, and all we're asking this board to do is to acknowledge that, amend it, modify it, whatever the words are called, and they'll go home. They have already built a beautiful building, and it'll last for a long time, okay? Now, if you'd ever want to put a condition that if they change the roof color, that you want a muted color, as a way to compromise, well, they would probably accept it, except I'm told by the contractors that these roofs have a lifetime guarantee. So it's going to be up there a while. I'm not trying to, tell you it's going to be changed in 10 years or 20 years or any of that kind of stuff, okay? So that was my little introduction. And, so I'm going to call the contractor up here. He's better? Okay. Please come. So, geez, I had his name. What's your name?
Mike Hirschberger.
Mike Hirschberger. Okay. Where do you work?
We work anywhere in Ohio, and like he said, we travel to Indiana. We've been to Florida and kind of all over, but we do mostly in Ohio. Within 2 hours is kind of our goal, and this is kind of our max threshold to drive for. But we do most of the work physically in-house. We have our team players that do all of our installing and everything. And yeah, I think to take a step back on what he just said, I think everything that he shared was pretty accurate. I think one of the big things that Anthony and the owner, yeah, he and his brother approached me, I think it was in 2021, yeah. And we were working on this project, helping him try to walk through to get, this is his first build up here. And so through that process, his brother and him were partners. And then, and I don't know the details of the family, but he wanted to, him and his brother parted. And on this build, he wanted to have it for his family.
Anthony's family.
Anthony's
Right.
family, yeah. And so Anthony's daughter and son are heavily involved now, and all of a sudden, after this got approved. So Olivia and Jonai, my supervisor that's supervising the project, were on the phone on a Zoom call working through details for the site, trying to get the vacuum equipment ordered. So they start talking about, this is real time stuff, but they start talking about vacuum equipment being blue and how blue doesn't go well with maroon. So Jonai calls me and was like, I wonder, shouldn't we have a blue roof on this building? And we took some time to research the color, and there was no color. You know, a lot of our new drawings that we build with have color renderings on them. We had no documentation showing the color version like you guys have in our possession, and so we made the mistake of choosing to go with the blue color. At that point, you know, should we have counseled with Sean first? Obviously. But I'll just, yeah, that's frankly, and I guess my plea is the new ownership, the younger generation wants to serve with bright and a futuristic look. And the maroon color was kind of old and weary in their eyes compared to their dad, frankly. And so they kind of are part of the team now, and I think that's where the biggest discrepancy came in. And I'll be the first to admit that as a contractor, we should have counseled with Sean before we took that route, and I apologize for that. But we're here to plead the case, and I just hope that we can work together, and because Anthony and their most importantly their kids, his kids don't want a maroon roof. They simply don't want that. So
Hang on. So I know the board has said that they have a copy of what I have marked as applicant's exhibit 1. So let me go through this with you, just you're familiar with this document?
Mm-hmm.
Did you or Joni create this? Jonai.
Jonai did. Yeah.
Jonai did?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll have Jonai.
Come on up.
You come out here. So.
He's, by the way, we're kind of partners in crime, and he's kind of supervising this project, and so I'm the CEO and he's the COO, so he's the operations officer.
Understand completely.
So, Jonah, you want to tell them your name here?
My name is Jonah Osteller, Holmesville, Ohio. So
And you
Here.
work for Buckeye Contractor, who's the general contractor for this, is
Jim,
that correct?
can I just stop you for a second?
Sure,
Who's Michael Marco?
it's the architect.
the architect.
Okay, because he's the one who submitted what you're holding there for the application for site plan review. So that's why I was wondering.
For this site plan review or the initial one?
This is the 225,
Right, okay, right,
2025, 2022 would have been the initial one.
right. In order to build this, my understanding was to meet the building
They
department.
resubmitted in 2025 with that, at least from what I can,
I don't think with this.
Sean, I think it's the same,
This is,
at least what was submitted in 2025 looks exactly what you have called on.
So the one that just got resubmitted in July of this year was done by us, but previously it would have been Michael Marco.
Right.
And
The original-
and that's the documentation that was
This,
probably missing on our part. We didn't see the original maroon rendering that you guys had to go off of. Does that
I mean,
make
there's no
sense, Sean?
question that there was a maroon rendering, and we just kind of wanted to
Okay.
walk through this.
Because we had that submitted in 25 too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes
That
sense.
was
Right.
my
Yeah.
Right. So Jonah, you're Buckeye Contractors. Do you want to take a look at this meeting?
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's the same
Yeah.
thing I think it is.
There are many pages that are executive.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, these renderings were what were submitted with the maroon roof. They were submitted with the application.
Well,
I wasn't sure if that was, if they were part of the the people who submitted the application.
I think after Joe and I testify just a little bit, it'll be
Okay.
maybe a little more clear and not very detailed. So Johnny, we were talking about this before we started the hearing, and you compiled this with the date of 7/8/2026, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you were involved in the process of submitting this new request for approval for this blue roof, correct?
Correct.
Okay, in that on page 2, Anthony made a long statement that knows in front of the board, but this was attached to that application. Okay, so on this application, you explained to me, so maybe you can explain to the board, down at the bottom on the right-hand side, there's numbers, like on, it says finish line car wash 2. What does that represent to your knowledge?
Finished, page 2 is what was submitted with Michael Markham's and what was approved.
Right,
So any page that has a number on it
number
was,
in the right-hand corner. Okay,
was
what was
submitted
submitted.
and approved.
Right,
And I included this just for reference. I assumed you all knew what was approved, but I just wanted to include it so we
Right.
have it for reference.
so page 2 of this, that's marked 2, 3, that is marked 3, okay, was something that was submitted before and approved. 4 was kind of a showing of the existing site, correct?
Correct.
5, I assume that was the building next to the old building,
That's on the
correct?
west-hand side.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Page 6 is actually out of order in this document here, but this picture here, okay, is what?
That
It says finish
represents,
line 3, right?
this is a picture that was off of a security camera from the job site. I just wanted to give you all an idea of what the job site actually looked like and the actual tones of the blue roof. As you'll see on the following pages, the blue is, on the following pages, is much more brighter than what's actually was installed. So this is a real-time photo, as I believe Sean has one up on the screen.
Okay, so then, on finish line 6, that was something that was submitted before and that was approved, correct?
Correct.
Okay. It has a wrong name on it, but that's not an issue. So then, the documents after that, where it has Aquawave with no numbering down there, are what are those documents? Maybe you can
So-
walk them through that.
Yeah, so this document, the hope of this page was, if we go back to page 6, is what was approved, and the following page is a rendering of what, according to the new application, we needed a rendering, a color rendition, and this was the hope of what it will look like.
Okay, so that's this particular picture right here, okay? So keep going. So,
Next page would be page 7. This page 7 was obviously approved with the
and it has the maroon
2025.
roof, correct?
Has the maroon roof, correct.
Right, okay.
Following page is 8. That's obviously was also approved with the maroon roof. It shows the dumpster. The civil drawings reflect a vinyl fence that this page 8 does not show. On the following page after 8,
That does not have a number.
yes, it
Right.
does not
So
have a
it's
number.
this one here,
I was able to include the white vinyl fence as the civil drawings reflected, and also we changed the color of the roof to blue as was built.
And one thing I want to mention is that tone of roof that's on these renderings probably is not as dark. You guys drive by there all the time. I'm sure you can see it's darker than what these renderings show intentionally. Yeah.
page
Can
9.
Can I ask a question? Would you mind?
No.
This seems like a nice presentation. When did you actually make that decision to change that color? And the mistake, is that what you would call it? The mistake was not coming back to John ever? Nobody felt that was important?
Honestly, our conversation went like this: that it's a black and white drawings. And Jonah and I had the conversation of it's burgundy was what it was called on the drawings. So we didn't have this zoning version, any of these color renderings in our possession. So we looked at that. It was one note on the drawings, and we looked at that. So burgundy, in our mind, could have been a variable of things. What color of burgundy? You know, what tone of burgundy? We kind of went to that, and we thought, well, with the vacuums all being blue, and there's really no excuse, but
I don't think we're,
But what, you guys, I'm not into your business, but knowing enough about the process, it just seemed like the big gap was not staying with the original specifications, if that's the term,
that's
but,
fair.
or the approved specifications.
That's fair. I think to that
So
point,
it just seems very odd.
yeah, to that point, customer satisfaction.
well, let me ask you this. I know you build a lot of these things. Do many or any of the other places you've built, do they have architectural guideline reviews? Do you know, for a car wash?
Yeah.
They do? Okay, so you're familiar with that process? Okay, so, okay. Okay, we're gonna
See,
keep going.
I hear you.
No,
Yep.
I mean,
It's fair.
I still go back to my little opening talk. The issue is still the same. Does this blue roof meet the guidelines when it says or? Because there's no question it's darker than the facade. Is the blue roof darker than the facade?
I would say it is.
Yeah, I mean, not even close, right? So,
I hope. I mean, my biggest hope is that if we can look at this from and again, the mistake is on us installing it before we ask. That's on us. I'm not running away from that at all. But from a perspective of a family that's trying to run a business, and the next generation wants to make a change, and the contractor makes a mistake by doing that change in favor of the customer, here we are. I think if we can use a little bit of, work together here and find a solution that nobody wants a maroon roof, we know that. None of the customers don't want that, period. So we just have to figure out a compromise that works for everybody, I hope.
what kind of a roof is this?
It's a standing
Standing seam.
seam metal roof.
Metal roof with a baked on finish, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. What would it cost in order to replace that and make it maroon?
65,000, I would think roughly.
That's what we've spent to put it on. That's without the gutters and the soffit. Yeah.
And would Anthony be required to pay that?
Well, that's not I don't know if that's an issue before this board,
No, just a question.
but I can't stop him from answering here. I don't know if that's been decided. I guess Anthony could certainly ask him, and they may. But that's not a zoning issue,
No,
and I'm just
no.
trying to keep zoning issues in the forefront, and I'm trying to keep the word or in the forefront. I'm not a Bill Clinton, okay, this is not an is, okay, I'm not gonna define that, but I will fall on or, where either one is acceptable.
It's absolutely, the guidelines, you're absolutely correct
Right.
about the guidelines.
Okay.
Again, the whole thing is that we approved, at the time we approved this in 26, it was maroon. If you folks would have come in at the time, see, we have a problem, we approved architecture reviews throughout this whole quarter, okay? And they come in and we go back and forth on the issues, on the architecture review, about color, about this, about that and everything. And you're right, we work out a compromise and we work out a compromise and we approve the site, and we do, and then we approve it based on the compromise. What you folks are doing now, and you're correct, this is after the fact that it's installed. Okay? And it would be, was.
I think the question in the air is, do we make a point? I think the challenge I would like to present is it worth Jonah and I made a mistake. I'm not gonna deny that. We made that mistake. That's on us. Trying to please the customer. So now here we are. Now it's just a question in the air. Is like he said, the or says the roof isn't approved equal.
So for zoning purposes, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, okay? We're really no different of a situation than if this was 2 years later. This had been built, Sean had problems with his eyes, so he missed this for 2 years. He then saw that it was blue and he noticed that it should have been maroon. Okay, it was already, I take that back, bad example. So if it had already been built with maroon and they decided that they wanted to change their color scheme to blue, they would be in the exact same situation legally that they are now. Okay, and you have to base it on the guidelines. Okay, and at that time, it says or. Either one is fine. And the fact that they did something, okay, is really no different than somebody building an 8-foot fence when they're only, or a fence without a permit. They're still allowed to get a permit, okay? There's, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong because there's 223 pages in the Painesville Township zoning code, okay, which is a lot, okay? There is no penalty for making a mistake.
I just have, I have a personal, when I accepted the responsibility to be a member of this zoning commission, we have guidelines that we are operating under that are unfortunately color oriented.
Right.
And our palettes that we work with and with the support of the team, we're working within those guidelines, and we made that clear right from the get-go about the colors. Unfortunately, 9 of you gentlemen were at that meeting.
I would just say, I can say that if I would have known that it was this near and dear to Painesville Township, I don't think I would have questioned it. I wasn't trying to, stab you in the back, or I hope you understand there was no ill intent on my part of
We
all of
understand that.
Okay.
I know, I'm not here to condemn you or whatever
Yeah.
about it, but here's, the whole thing is this. We approve sites all along the corridor, all along in Painesville Township, okay? We approved them. And going back and, again, going back and forth, the compromise, going back and forth on the or, and you said the or, going back and forth on that in the approval process. This is not the approval process. This is after the fact approval process. What you're asking us to do is, we approved a maroon roof, and you're young, and your client doesn't want a maroon roof. Okay, that's, hey, they got the opportunity, but at that point in time, that was where, that.
I hear you. Yeah, we know.
So I mean,
There's no joke about it.
I think, from a legal standpoint, you're incorrect. And I would ask you to talk to Mandy about that. I mean, your job is to follow the guidelines. This is no different than if we had offered this 1 year ago, a blue roof. It would have been approved because it says or. It's no different.
We have
I
other
will
situations.
disagree
No.
with this. I think that's the problem here, is that I'm not so sure that it would have been approved. And they did approve a specific site plan that included the colors of the building. And I think that's possibly, and the commission can speak for itself, but I think that's a little bit of what they're grappling with, is that, they did approve a specific site plan with specific colors, and I'm not sure they would have approved that. And certainly, I would tell them what you have been telling them. Your job is to view this based on the guidelines. And I think that is part of what we're getting hung up on here, is that if they are following those guidelines, I'm not sure that they agree with you, that it would have been approved.
But the only issue we established this when we started was this roof. That's the only issue before you.
Yeah.
Okay, and that roof meets the guidelines. I mean, there's no two ways around it. okay? Separate and apart from feeling bad for them or me, I feel bad for me because I'm here, okay? But that's not the issue, okay? So I just want the guidelines to be honored, which is a blue roof is okay, even though it's after the fact. Get rid of the or. I have a public hearing, change the ordinance, the resolution. You know, that's what, make a recommendation, have your public hearing, get rid of it so we're not in this situation. We're trying to help you.
So Jim, color doesn't matter, you could pick any color you want.
According to the guidelines, unfortunately,
But you can't. They come,
Can't.
you come here with your site plan that has the colors, and they approve it or they don't. And they have been, and the township trustees have, really been, letting the commission know that their goal is to stay within that Western Reserve color scheme. So, yes, in theory, it would meet the guidelines, but they approve or deny it.
but a goal is not a law. You, people, I say that very politely here, okay? Can't make arbitrary decisions. You have to follow the guidelines. And the guidelines say that a roof that is darker is allowed. And that's all we're asking.
Okay.
Okay, I think I've said it a
be-
bunch of times. I'm gonna stop, okay, because it's, unless somebody has questions.
But I agree with you that we need to follow the guidelines. And that's exactly what we're arguing for. If we say that we don't wanna follow these guidelines, then we have no reason to have guidelines at all.
Right.
And these were not approved as it was done. I think the roof looks very nice, but that was not approved. So we have to follow the guidelines that are set aside by our government, our township trustees, and they agreed to the architectural style and the colors. And yes, we have a color there that is not white. Burgundy is not white, maroon is not white, so all of those meet the guidelines,
Mhm.
the way you're looking at it.
Right.
But we're not here to argue the color, we're here to say that the guideline was not obeyed.
The
It was not
guideline,
approved.
what was approved was not obeyed. The guideline now is, if they had put a maroon roof on, the guideline would have been followed, okay? If you had approved a blue roof back then, it would have been followed.
But it
Why?
But we would not have approved.
It was not approved.
It wasn't approved.
I understand, that's why we're here.
And that's the whole, I think that is the key right there.
That a blue roof will never be approved.
I didn't say never be approved. The thing is, you folks approved, agreed to install a maroon roof, okay? That, it was approved. We approved that site plan. If you wanted, you folks said back in the time when you talked to your client, the younger client, Anthony's son and daughter,
Yeah.
at that point in time, I said, I don't want that maroon roof, I don't want that, it's too old, it's like my dad, too old fashioned. I want something different. At that point in time, that's where, if you wanted to make a change, at that point in time, before you asked this one, that's where you, as you said before, sir, you went to Sean. At that point in time, but
We didn't do that.
Hang on. Is that a correct statement of the law, Mandy? Are people allowed to modify their site plan after it's been
Major
approved?
modifications,
Yes or no?
They have to be approved under, any deviation has to immediately be approved by him. And if it's, a deviation, it has to come back before the commission.
And that's what we're here for,
And that's
isn't it?
essentially what
That's
you
what we're
are
here for, right?
doing.
So it can be approved. I mean, do you agree with that?
Oh, yes, if they choose to approve this deviation, yes, you
Right.
guys are free to approve the deviation.
Right. You're free to approve the deviation from the original site plan. And if you approve the deviation from the original site plan, you're still meeting the guidelines. I think that's what she just said.
But we also have other standards that are part of our guidelines.
But what standards are we not meeting then? I mean, we started by saying that the only issue was this roof color. That's what we were notified of by oral, not in writing.
I think maybe what you're saying is there's a color code outside of just what we're looking at
Yeah, those words.
that you have to follow. Is that true? Can
Yeah,
we get that
commercial
color
color
table
code.
on the table?
There is.
Because none of us knows that.
Well, what we're what we're being asked to do is to not follow our guidelines, and if we talk about guidelines and regulations, it's not the color, but the fact that it was not approved, and what was approved was not followed. So
Yeah.
if we don't say,
So,
if we say.
so the solution would be to pull the roof back off and reapply? Would that fix the problem?
That would fix the problem, I would think. I don't know.
That would not be a guarantee, that if you were to do that.
I mean, we're
You'd
more
have
than
to have-
happy to do that if that's the answer, to pull the roof
If that
back off
meets
and
all the
reapply for a
standards
blue
that we
roof
have,
then.
or all the-
But those are
It's-
all outside of the conditions of this.
You'd be in the same position you are today.
I think, right. The fact that they messed up and it's up there is not a fact, okay? I mean, it's a fact that it exists so that you could see it, but it's not a zoning fact that you can use to deny it. That's not in your code, okay? I know, it seems hard to believe,
Yeah.
okay? But that's the truth, okay? Ask Mandy. You know, I know nobody ever believes a lawyer who's standing up here in front of a board, okay? But a lot of times, sometimes, guys like me, women like, not like me, but women, you know what they're talking about. And that's why I keep turning to Mandy on this, so.
Okay. So what,
Well, you guys have done a wonderful job of representing the honesty of your position, and we feel for you, we do. So, unless there's any other things we've got to get.
Well, I'd like to have you hear from Anthony, so.
Well, like I've told you, throughout this hearing, that you do still have to follow the guidelines as far as whether this meets the intent of what the township wants to have, particularly in that corridor. And I think that, that applicant is kind of glossing over the fact that there are issues with that, meeting what this township has wanted to have as far as color schemes in that area.
Well, there's no flossing over. Excuse me, Mandy, but I have to correct you this time. It's a goal to have this Western Reserve. It's not an obligation, okay?
No,
I mean,
it's not
it's
an
not-
obligation,
Right.
but the commission's job, it's specifically laid out in the zoning resolution that the commission is, part of what they're supposed to consider is whether or not the site plan matches what the trustees are trying to do as far as that continuity in that corridor.
The trustees should not have put or a darker color in terms of the roof.
That's
They need to
another,
correct
that's another day, Jim, that's a whole different.
But I agree, it's another day, but that's the day that we have here now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So, again, you guys, thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna have Anthony, he's gonna tell you what he's gonna tell you. So, okay, so.
My name's Anthony Varselli, owner of 1388 Menor Avenue, and I do want to apologize that we're in this situation. This is a family-owned business. My two children are going to be taking my business over. I never did a new build before. I've remodeled car washes. This is brand new, and when you said that this was all submitted in 2025, I understand that, but I overlooked that the maroon roof had to be, the maroon roof had to be okayed by you guys. I just want to talk a little bit about how we got here. Like I said, I am old school. Okay, my kids have new, young energy, ideas. They're more up on what my industry is doing. They have exciting things to bring to Painesville Township in this location. Yes, I am trying to give my children how they want to go with this business, and I get it. But I did overlook this, and I apologize for this. And all I can ask is if you can just go in your hearts and try to help me out with this situation. The maroon roof would be devastating to us right now, and I want to explain why. This project started, I think I came 2022. It's been a long project. It came as Finish Line Car Wash. Now it's approved by Painesville Township with the signage that it's Aqua Wave car wash, and that's the DBA of Finish Line. We got excited about that because it's a fun name. It brings like new blood to this industry. And Sean, if you don't mind, can you pull up the pictures that I sent you in your email?
These ones right.
And the reason why I want to show you this is because I'm trying to. I know you guys are talking all this legal stuff. I'm talking from my heart and my family that this is the vision we came to of the fun that we're having with the new name and the blue that's going on. Blue is clean for car washes. The bubbles, that's all fun. Our menu's all blue, matching the vacuums. I think he's going to show you. Can you zoom in on that or no? I mean, even the name with the logo, the wave. This is what, and I understand we overlooked something. I'm not denying that by no means. This is the way this industry is going. And to have a maroon roof on what's going on with our colors and everything, right? It would be very devastating to us. And I apologize from my heart. I really do. I messed up. Never did this before. It's a family business. I don't know all this legal stuff. I don't.
I understand.
I run car washes. That's what I know.
Leaves
And
are up.
I just-
completely about that.
I just wanted to say that. And I appreciate your time. I really do. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'm not gonna talk, I'm just gonna give my applicants exhibit 1 here to the clerk, so that it's part of the record.
Thank you. Okay.
And then can I just ask a legal question?
Not your-
I'm a legal guy.
Sorry.
So, if you vote against this, which would surprise me, of course, but if you do vote against it, are there gonna be findings of fact and conclusions of law done tonight, Mandy?
I don't believe there would be, not for what this application is.
No?
No.
Okay. Okay. How then does a court determine, what they base their decision on? Just the general talk here tonight?
The general talk, yes,
Uh-huh.
and that is the basis and, the discussion and them, if they want to, when they vote, if they want to give their reasoning for the way that they vote. Certainly the more detail we have on that regard, the better.
Okay.
And they know that from past cases, we've
Right.
discussed that.
My other question is, and I don't want to know, it's just kind of a yes or no answer. I know there was an executive session, right at the start for legal purposes. Was that executive session related to this application? Yes or no?
It was about potential lawsuits. I mean, this could potentially fall under that, not
So the question.
about the colors.
So the question I have, was this talked about in executive session before you came out and we put our presentation on? That's a yes or no question. And if it was, that's not a proper matter for executive session.
It was about potential lawsuits about color schemes.
About this,
About this specific case, it was about specifically lawsuits regarding the colors.
okay, so there was no pending lawsuit, okay, on that, or threatened lawsuit on that, is what you went into executive
But
session for.
Like, I can't reveal certain
No, I
confidential
understand that,
information.
but I mean, if
But
this
the
was,
executive session was based on imminent, pending,
There was no-
imminent legal matter.
there was no, it's pending or threatened litigation.
Yes,
There was
threatened
no
litigation.
threatened or pending litigation, okay? And I'm still not saying that there is, but there are reasons that you have these laws and what you can talk about, okay, in there. And, talking about this case amongst you before there's a presentation and saying, well, we gotta have the right colors, we got our goals. If you did that, okay, then I don't think you're allowed to do that, okay? I mean, that's just, once again, just my opinion.
But thank you.
Right,
Thank you for the warnings and all of that.
well, and it,
We are going to carry on with our normal process, which is what we followed. Jim.
And to be clear,
And-
the
and I-
executive
and I have
session
nothing
was
but
not
respect
about this case.
for all of
I
you.
wanna
I think
be
these are
very
hard
clear
jobs,
on the record
okay?
that the executive session was not about this case.
Yeah.
It was about threatened legal action.
By some other entity.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, if that's the case, then that's okay, if it was by some other entity. But I'm not sure why a zoning commission goes into executive session. I can understand them going into, and, taking a break, okay, and deliberating in terms of talking amongst yourself, you're allowed to do that. But you people, once again, I don't mean, are not being threatened, it would be Painesville Township, okay? You are not the
Jim, we're
subject
not-
of litigation.
We follow the process according to our conversation.
And I respect
you're saying,
the heck out of
And there's a
Mandy.
place for
so,
you to do all of that with them, but not with us.
right.
And they're,
I was really surprised when you went into executive session.
Well, please, you have every right to be surprised, and that's fair. What we're doing is our job, as we know.
And I don't doubt that.
So-
I don't ascribe any bad motives to people, okay?
Okay.
I mean, I don't think any of you, are,
Well,
trying to,
It just feels like
it feels
all that you're doing
confrontational.
is like a
If it
threat
feels,
more than
if it feels
anything.
that my words are confrontational, sometimes legal stuff has to be confrontational.
But it feels like it's a threat, and it's not intended to be. I'm sure you don't, but it feels like it. But we.
I'm challenging is all I'm doing.
All we're doing is doing our job, and that's what we want to do.
Okay, I mean, everything out there has become so contentious that it's so important. I mean, it's crazy, okay?
Yeah.
So contentious that it's so important, to follow the laws exactly, so you don't have to ask these questions or have to explain yourself, okay? So, okay, thanks.
Thank you. And thank all of you as well.
My concern is what we're doing, does it set some kind of precedence that's going to affect our decisions in the future?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the beginning of that.
Is what we're doing here tonight going to set any kind of a precedence that will affect our decisions in the future?
No, in the future, you can still, it's a case-by-case basis.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that you guys would decide tonight that I see that has potential of affecting any future site plan that comes before you.
Okay. Hearing a presentation, hearing the applicant. Any board member have any other questions for the applicant or the staff? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the revised site plan.
I'll make that motion.
I got a motion to approve the site plan, revised site plan. Anthony, a second. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, Ted Galushik,
This is gonna be a tough one for me. No, and I'll tell you why. For me, it is after the fact. I know I've been saying that for the whole time, from my standpoint. I understand about the maroon roof not matching the blue that you want for Aqua. But at the same time, and you talk about a compromise, compromises are always in the approval process. This is installed, and the problem I have is that someone can come in here and not care about what they put on this piece of paper. Okay? And we approve that site plan, and they go and build something else. And they say, you let this go, we can do anything, we can do what we want, because we set a precedent of that. If it had been in the approval process, we might have had something go on, but this is after the approval process, after the install. So with that in mind and what I'm saying, no.
okay, Mark Ruth,
No.
Alternate Ante Legarsic,
No.
John Hott,
No.
Darrell Webster,
No.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Okay. New business coming up is received 3 new cases for public hearing set for September 14th, 2026. First, case is 2026-213. It's removing current section 6.02 in its entirety and changing 6.02 as shown here. Sean, can you explain to us what's going on, what we're seeing?
Where are we at? So legally, we can't have this in the, we can't have this. So this was added more recently, and now it needs to be removed via legal, not Mandy, Matt Lallo. ORC does not allow us to have that in our zoning. So basically, you are allowed to discharge a firearm on your personal property, and just as long as you follow the guidelines that are set by the state. So that needs to go quickly.
Okay. Any questions from the commission concerning this case? Hearing none, I entertain a motion for setting a public hearing for this.
So moved.
Darrell made a motion to set this public hearing, this case, second.
Second.
Mark made a second. Discussion on the motion. Roll call, please.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Alternate Ante Legarsic,
Yes.
Ted Galusha,
Yes.
John Hott.
Yes.
Okay, case 214 ZC, revising section 39 to include B2 General Business District within the corridor overlay district regulation where only the applied B1, B3 and districts are currently referenced. So basically you're adding, General Business District B2 into section 39 regulation. basically.
Right, so previous zoning department overlooked text within there. So ultimately, when we did a large rezoning of areas on main corridors, the verbiage was not updated here to meet those guidelines. The boundaries are set inside of the section 39 from point A to point B, but that section was not notated, so we're adding that verbiage into the 2 portions of section 39.
Any questions for the commission regarding this case? Hearing none, I need to entertain a motion for setting a public hearing. Darrell second. Discussion on the motion to set the public hearing for this case 214. Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, John Hott,
Yes.
Alternate Ante Legarsic,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Ted Galusha,
Yes.
Darrell Webster.
Yes.
Okay, case 215. 2026-215, revising section 29.10 to apply the minimum side yard clearance requirements of 1.5 feet to R1, R2, R3, and the FPUD. Establish the way the amendment is intended to establish a consistent side yard clearance for these residential zoning districts. And no other changes to section 29 is being proposed at this time. Sean, what's the purpose of this?
2026, we live in a world of paved paradise. We put up a parking lot. So we have found a lot of issues with homeowners, property owners paving up to the property line. Ultimately, then would be encroaching onto the neighbor's property then to exit said vehicle. So we're trying to create a barrier line of defense of having that. So if I were to pave up to the property line, someone put a fence on the property line, you wouldn't even be able to get out of that door there. So driveways in all these districts, ultimately, we would like to see 1.5 feet on your property, and then your neighbor to have 1.5 feet, so you have 3 feet of passage for said reasons.
Okay, a green space.
Yeah, green space, you know, as long as it's not a approved parking surface, so asphalt, concrete, permanent pavers.
So really, the driveway would just be whatever stone, asphalt, whatever concrete.
Oh, easy on the stone, sir. No stone driveways.
Sorry?
So, yeah, it would need to be those 3 approved parking surfaces. Ultimately, we would like to see the green space. And when you look at FPUDs, and you get into these Ryan home developments where the first thing that's added to the properties is a driveway extension, they're immediately taking it up to the property line. And then we just there's concrete.
Okay. Gotcha. Any questions from the commission members? Hearing none, entertain a motion for this case, the public hearing for the next meeting. Mark and Auntie. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
Ted Galusha,
Yes.
okay, alternate Ante Legarsic,
Yes.
John Hott.
Yes.
Okay. We have no old business, am I correct? Hearing none? Okay, we closed the public hearing for the tobacco bag and e-cigarette sales as given to us tonight. We need if you want to, if the board is okay with it, we would send this revised to the trustees for approval. So we need a motion to approve to send to the trustees.
So moved.
Okay, Darrell made the motion, Auntie seconded. Discussion on the motion to approve it to send to the trustees.
Okay, Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Ted Galusha,
Yes.
John Hott,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
alternate Ante Legarsic.
Yes.
Okay, we have no items. We have 3 items we set for next meeting. Zoning inspectors report.
In front of you, there's the planning and zoning workshop that's coming up August 28th. It is out on Geneva on the Lake. So if you'd like to attend, I need to know ultimately by Monday so I can get you registered for that. I know I spoke with 2 of you already on it and you cannot attend, but if you would like to attend, please let me know so I can register you. So the classes are on here of what is to be discussed for certain things.
I would like
Any
to
of
go.
those tickle your fancy.
I'd love to go, but I'll be laid up at home, so.
You said you needed it for by this next Monday?
Yeah, it's coming Monday, just because registration ultimately, it closes Monday. Dave has given me a little bit of a window till Tuesday, so if you let me know Monday, I can, he's got a give or take on the number.
Okay,
You wanna know what
anything else?
courses we want?
What's that?
You wanna know the courses we want?
Well, the courses you want, it could be one of those right there, so you can pick and choose
But
out
do we
of the
have to-
battle.
Do we have to force them to know ahead of time?
Oh, yeah, you'll know, so you can choose A, B, or C, or A.
I know.
Oh, no, gosh, no. I look at it and I go, ooh, not doing that one today.
Cause
Absolutely
there's
not.
some I would do and some I won't.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, there's some that I look at, I'm going, I've heard that 3 times and it's not helpful.
Okay, anything else, Sean?
That will be it. See you next month.
Okay, any further business to come before the commission? Hearing none, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:57.
Motion.
Motion, anti-seconded.
Okay, alternate Ante Legarsic,
Yes.
okay, Ted Galusha,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
and John Hott.
Yes.
Okay, folks. Enjoy your, see ya. I should be here in September. I think I should be good enough by then to get here.